Hello, hello, everyone. Hi, welcome. I am Mandy Rice of teachonamission.com and the Sustainable Teacher Podcast. I'm going to get my notes loaded up here. That's why I kind of have this. And then my computer's to orchestrate all things being Facebook Live, right? Thank you so much for being here and trusting me with about 30 minutes of your time is my goal. Sometimes I'm a little short of that, but I try my darndest to not go over it. So if you wouldn't mind, hop in the comments and let me know you are here, where you're coming from, and what you teach. That would be awesome to know. And if you're feeling super type happy, how far along you are, or where you are, I should say, in your flipping journey. Is this something you've been doing for years? Is it something that you're just kind of getting to know and understand? Or you have no idea what it is. I'd love to know so that I can better help you. Really, that's really what I'm here for. So, like I said, hey there, I'm Mandy Rice of teachonamission.com and the Sustainable Teacher Podcast. And in my business called Teach on a Mission, I am driven and on a mission to help teachers build sustainable classrooms so they can stay there longer, or as long as they would like, right? Without sacrificing their evenings and weekends to do so. And the flipped classroom is one of the ways that I do that. And so I'm really excited that you're here and hope that you find value in each of these weekly flipped classroom trainings that I'm doing on Facebook Live. You can see any of the replays if you just click on videos on the page where you're watching this, but I also am putting most of them, one of them didn't work, most of them on my YouTube channel as well. So, all right, so let me I need to grab something here really quick, meaning grab a link to make sure that I share something with you guys. 1 second. Yeah, there it is. Okay. All right, I'm ready. I'm officially ready now. Okay, let me get to my notes. So tonight we are talking about this question. Is the flipped classroom really the answer moving forward in education? Right? I don't know about you guys, but this is the time of year where I always am thinking about next year. Well, maybe not quite yet, right? Like we're not, at least in the state of Ohio where I am, I'm just outside of Cincinnati. We are in the midst of all things state testing, and then AP testing is, beginning to mid-May. And that really is when my wheels start turning about next year, right? And I'm betting that you are probably the same. Not going to lie, this is kind of a stressful time of year for teachers because we're thinking about next year, but it's also kind of refreshing to think about a new start. I don't know if you feel the same way, but that really is my heart at the end of the school year as a teacher. And so I want to be honest about this question of what in the world is the new normal going to look like. I have an entire podcast episode about that and encourage you to go and check that out. But is flipping really the answer? Okay, so that's really why we're here. Let me go ahead and get to sharing my slides here. All right, so this is what we're talking about tonight. Is flipping your classroom really the answer moving forward in education and all things new normal and whatever in the world that's going to look like, right? Okay, so the quick answer is yes. I mean, obviously, I spent 10 years flipping my own classrooms, multiple of them, and helping hundreds of teachers do the same. And now that's what I am almost exclusively doing in my business, is helping teachers flip their classrooms in ways that doesn't involve 15 Pinterest boards and a ton of research on Google just to come up short when you go to implement it, right? I want to give teachers practical, tangible action steps to make it happen and implement it well the first time from go, right? Because ain't nobody got time for trial and error and to see what's going to work and what's not. Not today, not in today's age, right? Okay, so the quick answer is yes. And I'm going to tell you why. But first, I want to tell you what the flipped classroom is not. The flipped classroom, and I want to be clear about this from the beginning, the flipped classroom is not an end-all be-all, meaning it will not solve all the issues in any given classroom, right? It will not solve all classroom management issues or all differentiation issues, although it's going to be a really amazing in that realm of differentiation, and I'm going to talk about that tonight. But that's because nothing like that exists, right? There is no what we call a silver bullet in education that just solves all the problems. And the flipped classroom is just like that. Here's another thing that the flipped classroom is not. The flipped classroom is not just a trend that is going to come and go. I truly believe that there will no longer be the term flipped classroom. It'll just be what's normal. Here's why. Because the flipped classroom is what allows your content, and more specifically, you being the expert of learning that content, not necessarily an expert of the content, but an expert of how to best learn that content outside of the four walls of your classroom. And with all things that happened in pandemic teaching of 2020 and what we're looking at right now in a lot of states of that's not really changing, right? And maybe not even changing next year. I'm going to go into more of those reasons here in a bit. You have to be accessible outside of the four walls of your classroom. The flip side of that coin being also so that we keep teacher jobs. And I'm not saying that to trigger you or to increase anxiety or anything like that, but if school districts aren't offering a virtual option, kids are going to go elsewhere, and so do their dollars that are tied to them because of, love it or hate it, the way that most states fund their schools. At least that's the case in Ohio, right? And so we need to be ready for that. And I think there's also an element of wanting to be ready for the changes, not in education, but in the world, right? Which a lot of folks, teachers namely, right, have been arguing that for years. Like, we're a little behind. We need to kind of catch up on all things accessibility, I guess you could say. That's not really what I mean there, but that's the best words that I have to portray what I'm meaning there. So hi, Joy. Hi, Connie. Welcome. Geometry and flipped for 3 years. That's awesome. Hey, Allison from Virginia Instructional Tech. Oh, awesome. And brand new to flipping. Great. You're in the right spot. And I hope that I can help you. Oh, awesome. Jerry in Georgia, 6th grade social studies, never flipped. Dipping my toes, right? That's awesome. And trying to be brave. Yes, you absolutely can do that. And I'd love to help. Jennifer, awesome. 6th grade math and science, trying to flip, but have not learned enough to fully implementing it. Love it. And Chris in San Francisco, middle school computer science. Welcome. I'm so glad that you guys are here. I think there's a little bit of a delay both on the video and in the comments. So you probably commented that a while ago and I'm just now seeing it, but that's okay. Okay, so we kind of talked and hashed out what the flipped classroom is not. It is not a silver bullet. It will not solve all the problems. But on the same side of that coin, it is also not just a trend. It's not just a trend. In fact, I think the name flipped classroom is going to go away because it's just going to be commonplace that teachers are placing their content and how they teach it in a video that's accessible, whether inside, but also namely outside of their classroom. And we're going to talk about why now, right? We're going to talk about why that's going to be the new normal. So for those, all of us, right? All of us teachers that are at the end of the school year thinking, what do I want to do in my classroom next year? It's going to be different. And it's probably going to be different from all of my colleagues. I don't think it's going to be all that different for very much longer. I don't think it will be. I think it's going to become the new normal. Okay, so let's talk about why it is the answer and why it's becoming the new normal. Hey, Jackie, 8th grade math in Georgia. Started flipping my last 2 units. Ooh, awesome. I hope it's going well. Guys, if you've been flipping, I'd love to know how it's going for you. Would love that. I'm just going through and liking comments. Because, positivity. Okay, so it is the answer. It is going to be the new normal, and here's why. It's a better way to manage. Really, it's a better way to manage your teaching life. But that's not what I was going to say. Going off script there. Stop doing that. It's a better way to manage both your in-person and simultaneous, right, online students. So your virtual and in-person learning, your learners, right, They're doing the same thing. Now, let me kind of elaborate on this a little bit. Virtual learning, right? A student who's streaming in live to your class, and in-person learning are not the same thing. Okay? They are not the same thing. And if we have a schedule, which a lot of schools do because it's just the way that they were able to manage it, and it's the least of all evils, right? The best case scenario of what they're working with, where they have in-person students, but they also have students streaming in live, right? They call that a hybrid, right? Where you have in-person students and live streaming students. What we are doing there with that schedule is saying that the in-person experience, a living, breathing human being in a seat in my classroom, is the same or identical or equivalent experience as one who attends virtually. And that is not the case. That is completely wrong. Again, is it the best of what we could do for a lot of districts? Absolutely. So you roll with it, right? But moving forward, we cannot continue to do that. We cannot continue to say that a virtual student has an equivalent experience as a student who's in person. And so, I kind of lost my train of thought there. Hang on a second. And so, okay. We don't want to treat it as such, right? So that doesn't mean, however, that it's going away. I really don't think that it's going to. And in fact, maybe we don't have them streaming in live, but we will always have, to some degree, some number of virtual students. And I believe that you should be ready to teach virtual students at the drop of a hat, because you just never know, right? You just never know, and it makes you flexible. But preparing for in-class students and live streaming students, no. So instead, put the content in a video, right? Put the content in a video so that when your virtual students are attending class, they are watching your video, right? And then maybe they do that 2 days a week, but then 3 days a week when they stream in live, they're doing some sort of group work with their virtual students, or maybe even in-person students, but they're doing so, they're working together virtually. I hope that makes sense. If you are preparing for in-person students and virtual ones, that's 2 preps. You cannot do that. That's 2 preps per prep. You cannot manageably do that. All right, Anne, welcome. I'm hoping to start teaching elementary. Still looking. Oh, I know how that feels. I have been an inactive editor for many years and hoping to come back. That's awesome. I'm concerned about life balance. Yes, as I go back into teaching, and so I am intrigued. And I'm going to assume, Anne, that you are a mother. I'm sorry if you are not, and I just offended you. I don't mean that in any way, but that is very much on my heart when it comes to sustainability for teachers, right? Because as a teacher parent, that's really when my sustainability definitely crumbled as a teacher, right? Oh, and Samantha in Austin, that's awesome. Looking to flip in my on-level class. Your psych videos are a lifesaver. Yay, Ravy this year. That's awesome. Samantha, so glad you found those helpful. Okay, so it's a better way to manage all of your students, no matter how they attend your course, is what I was getting at there. Okay, it also, right, flipping is the new normal. Flipping is the way moving forward, because it gives your course, and stick with me here, a farther reach, quite physically and literally speaking, with your students, but also a deeper dive even amongst students' absences and intermittent virtual schedules, because that's still going to be a thing. You're needing to be out, all of the things, and testing and visiting counselors and all the things that take students away from a butt in the seat of your room, right? Flipping allows you to still be effective in those ways. So it gives you that farther reach because of your virtual students, but also your kids when they're at home, right? With the intermittent, quarantine or virtual schedules, whatever that looks like, right? Or when you're needing to be out. I'm actually writing some things right now, whether it's for Facebook or my podcast or anything like that. And I'm telling the story about how when I was, this is a total spoiler alert, you may see this again soon. I was 9 months pregnant with our first child. It took us a year to get pregnant. So, super pumped. Anywho, that doesn't matter. I am 9 months pregnant and we're 3 weeks into the school year because it's September. And it's like 98 degrees outside and I don't have air conditioning in my classroom. Nor did I ever. And I had a heat stroke. I totally had a heat stroke and was rushed to the hospital via ambulance. And I was out for, I want to say a week. And then I was back for a few days. And then I went into labor and was out for 12 weeks, right? Here's the thing. My scores still did amazing. Because my students were still getting the content from me. Even though I was 20 to 30 miles away holding my newborn baby for 12 weeks. I don't know about you, but that's like a teacher mom mic drop. So I'm just going to end there. No, just kidding. But that's what I mean by farther reach, right? But then it also gives you the ability to have that deeper dive. And in a world, I feel like this year was very let's just stay surface level because that's all we can handle. Of course, that makes total sense. But with flipping, you can still go deeper. Okay, I think, not yet. Okay. The last thing I'm going to say, my last teaching point I'll say is this. You are going to have a variety of students and student performance levels in your classroom for the rest of time, right? And differentiation is much more manageable when you're putting your content into a video that's accessible for your students and allows them to go at their own pace through the content. I have said this a ton. I feel like I'm saying it too much. You may be hearing it for the first time, but I also want you to hear it from another teacher. So if you get on your phone right now, mine's charging over there, and go to whether it's Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts, and get to episode 21 of the Sustainable Teacher podcast. It just came out this past Tuesday. Wait, that's yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. I interviewed Carrie Tafuro. Woo, go Carrie. Who is a middle school math teacher in Vacaville, California. I wanted to call that Vacayville, California, because, it's California and you want to go on vacay. And she shares about a moment when she is telling her students are on an IEP, right, or special ed students, go back and watch these videos. And then she's talking with a student and telling them, okay, go back and watch this video. And it dawns on her, wait, this is a regular ed kid. Of course, she's not, saying this out loud. But another student of hers, who is a special ed student, would see that and think, because kids know, right? Kids know. And they think, she normally does really well in class, and I'm normally the one who struggles. And Mrs. Tafiro just recommended to him or her what you recommended to me to do in my learning. That's empowering. That's so empowering for a student, right? So the differentiation there, guys, is, I believe, unmatched when it comes to the delivery of content. When it comes to the activities and stuff like that, yeah, there's other ways to differentiate that I also believe that flipping allows you to do better. But absolutely, in the delivery of your content, flipping it allows your students to go at their own pace, and that is a total game changer. Total game changer. Connie says, I've missed 5 days this semester, but my class never stopped. Woo, hashtag flipped. That's so amazing. Good for you, Connie. Right, my class never stopped. Even though I got the flu or, heaven forbid, something else or kind of virus, right? Because hashtag that's real life. And you're able to just keep going with it. You're able to just keep going. Thank you for sharing that, Connie. That is amazing. Hey, Holly. How's it going? I feel like I haven't talked to you in forever. San Antonio, whoa. That I'm here just for moral support. That's awesome. But I've worked since last summer flipping my class, and this weekend I will be recording my last videos. So I will have the entire year. Oh my gosh, Holly. This is so amazing. And I've been hybrid this year, in person, and this, Holly, so awesome. You're going to have all of your videos done. And next year, you'll just get to like put your feet up on your desk. No, I'm just kidding. But close, right? Oh man, that is so amazing. I feel like this is one of those things where a teacher might even say, man, I wish I had done this last year. Right? Man, I wish I had done this last year. Oh, this is so darn awesome. All right, guys, if this information that I've been sharing and these like mic drop moments you guys have been sharing, Connie and Holly, thank you. If this is resonating with you, I want to invite you to my limited time professional development opportunity, 3 Insights to Flipping Your Classroom. This is like the first day that I'm really pushing this out and telling the world about it. In my past Facebook Lives that I've been doing, it's been, hey, here's a free printable for you, or join our Facebook group. But now here's an actual PD opportunity, a professional development opportunity called the 3 Insights to Flipping Your Classroom, being more sustainable, right? Who said that about going back to Anne, right? Being more sustainable in the new normal of teaching. And you can get registered at teachonamission.com/workshop. And I'm going to put save your seat here and paste that in the comments so that you guys can just click away and make it happen. Joy, listen to podcasts on my own today. Loved how well this is working for her and how she's sharing her videos with other teachers. Yes, Joy, that's amazing. Amazing, right? I'm actually interviewing 2 more teachers this week, and those podcast episodes will be in the beginning of May. So pumped about that. Okay, so teachonamission.com/workshop. You can sign up now and choose the date that best works for you. There's only a few because I'm a real life person, and they will be live. They'll be live like this, but in a much more like formal way. I'll like have probably showered. I just admitted to you all that I haven't showered today because #real life, right? So yeah, it's going to be, let me finish my notes here. You can save your seat now. Again, it's limited on seats, but also I'm only offering a few of them because it's live and I'm a real person. It is free and it's jam-packed with actionable steps, 1 hour, right? So these I try to keep to 30 minutes, which I'm still in my time limit now. This one will be a little bit longer. And I will send you a PD, like certificate of completion at the end that you could turn in for CEUs. You could take that to your admin and say, hey, I attended this thing. Can I get some CEUs? We call them PDUs, but you know, to each his own. Okay, I think that was it. Yep. Okay. All right, let me get back to where I want to be here. That's where I want to be. All right, guys, that's teachonamission.com/workshop. Like I said, there's a few dates to choose from, totally free. And we'll be talking more and more about working together on flipping and how I can help you make sure that Pinterest is not your go-to, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I got hella Pinterest boards. I love me some Pinterest. I built my house based off of Pinterest, right? My wedding wasn't planned with Pinterest because it didn't exist yet, but I love Pinterest. But when it comes to wanting to do something well professionally as a teacher, it can be good and as far as like inspiring and motivating you. But I'm hoping that a teacher's guidance based off of 10 years of doing it herself, and wanting to help you do it as well as the 300 plus teachers that I've already helped flip their classrooms, that can be a more valuable experience for you, so that it's not based on trial and error and it's not based on DIYing it, like is very much the hustle culture of education. Okay, I'm wanting to overcome that, and I want to overcome it with teachers. So if you ever have any questions, it's not 8:30 yet, so if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments now, and I'd love to help you. I'm going live. I'm looking at my calendar over here really quick. Next week, which will be April 28th. Can't even believe we're almost 5 months into the year, right? And I don't know what the topic's going to be. Let me look that up here really fast because I forget. Nope, that's the wrong one. Almost there. Oh, overcome technology fatigue in your classroom. So that's right. Next Tuesday on the Sustainable Teacher Podcast, I'm releasing the top 3 tech tools for your classroom in the new normal. And so our Facebook Live flipped classroom training will be next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it'll be all about overcoming that technology fatigue you may be feeling right now. Talking about the tools that I use in my flipped classroom, ones that I recommend for you, and even a discount that you'll get. You want to be there. You want to be there. Okay. Let's see. Casey says, I would love to be part of your flipped class. Yay! Casey from Nebraska. That's awesome. Yeah, if you can, Casey, make sure teachonamission.com/workshop. It's actually linked right above where you commented there. And you can get registered for that webinar.